Hey everyone, happy Tuesday. It's a Tuesday evening and we've got some rain headed our way, hopefully, crossing our fingers. I hope everybody had a great Labor Day weekend. It was amazing. Had a little bit of family getaway time, went to a family reunion, but where's the fall you ordered, Melissa? That's coming your way next week, right?
Oh
Big
yeah,
time pattern
yeah.
change. Big time. We'll talk more about that on the news. So make sure you check into that. But I've got a Fox 24 news at 9 o'clock coming up here pretty soon, and we're just about a quarter till. So, hey, you know what? Let's get right to it. If you didn't get to see it earlier, Decatur showing some lightning off in the distance. Keep in mind this thunderstorm is a little ways away. And Peyton and I have been watching this development off to the west, and there really isn't much filling in between two clusters of storms. But I don't know, Peyton, kind of looking at that last radar image, maybe dropping east southeast a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it's building a little down towards the southeast.
That would be nice because that would bring us some rain. If this remains developing to the north and then drifts to the northeast, then southwest Missouri gets it. You can see on the very tail edge, at the moment, there's really not a whole lot of storm development. Now, this front is still coming through. There's plenty of heat and humidity. Models are kind of all over the place on the thunderstorm development. But I do believe that I think additional development takes place. This is a big question. Will additional development take place? I don't know. I think there will be. Models are kind of in disagreement. Some show
Yeah,
that it will, some show it won't. So
very wishy-washy.
absolutely. Want to show you some other stuff here too. So we showed you Mega Doppler. We showed you the storm activity. It's just about 8:47. Here's the very latest severe weather risk. So this has been expanded a little bit to the southwest for that slight risk. It includes eastern sections of, well, basically eastern Oklahoma and western Sequoia County. Doesn't quite hit LaFleur County. So, boy, we sure need some rain. I know, Roby, you got some rain coming your way. By the way, thank you for the comments on social media. And we just gotta figure this out. Is it beneficial rain or scattered? Yeah, it's not going to be a big, huge soaker. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Some places will get some decent rain. How severe for Rogers and timing? Yeah, we're going to get into that. I'm going to show you the timing in just a bit. It all depends on, if these storms really do develop. I think around in about an hour and a half, it'll start knocking on our doorstep. So, which
yeah.
is great news because there's a concert that's going on right now. In fact, here's a live look at In Between Acts, Candlebox, Three Doors Down,
Oh yeah.
part two. So that's the second round because the first round was canceled due to extreme weather. Now there is a severe thunderstorm watch, and it goes until midnight. You can see that county area shaded in pink, and that basically will include most of northwest Arkansas until about 9 o'clock. So I do think storms are coming. I think the later on we get, the storm severity will be less, but there's still that potential for damaging winds. So here's a look at the timing, and then we'll show you the future radar. We'll show you a couple different models, and then you'll kind of understand why there's a lot of uncertainty how these storms really do develop. So there you see the rain chances, 60%. Hopefully that comes to fruition. I think there will be quite a few storms, but I don't know. It's questionable now at this point.
Yeah, it really is.
Just because, why do you think that development isn't taking place?
Well, I don't think we got as hot enough. I don't think we were hot enough to have a conducive environment for storms.
Yeah, we were looking at that convective temperature. And in order for the convective temperature to form thunderstorms, it had to get to close to 100 degrees in northwest Arkansas.
Yeah, and that
Didn't
didn't
do
happen.
that. Didn't do that. I do think, though, additional storms will pop up. And so we're going to look, first of all, at the graph model. Now, take this with a grain of salt because, let's just say it's been pretty terrible. But I think it does have a kind of a good trend here with storms. Then watch what happens later on tonight. We're still plenty hot and humid. Additional outflow boundaries will develop. The low level jet will start kicking in, and that's going to probably pop up additional storms. And then you can see how over time those will start traveling south. Now, here's the key: some places get a really nice downpour, other places don't get a drop of rain. So, as far as the widespread soaker beneficial rain, I don't think we're going to see that tonight.
Mm.
But some places will get a nice downpour. We'll look at the dew points in just a second, David. But there is a look at that storm activity that drops south. And notice the river valley. Very little, if any, rain at all. And that makes sense when you look at the risk, and you can see the risk dropping off as it gets farther south. There's two reasons for that. Number one, you lose the energy as the system starts to lift northeast. And the second reason is, well, the storms are going to be, longer lived at that point, and so they're going to lose their strength, and the coverage of the storms is going to be less. So all of that leads to a lowered risk. What are those dew points right now? It's not as humid as it was. I'm going to guess upper 60s, lower 70s. We did have some lower to middle 70s, but right now that's not happening. And we had a little trough of low pressure swing through. And what that did, that created a little subsidence, prevented the storms from popping up this afternoon and evening. And now they're developing tonight. So that's kind of what we're looking at there. So that was the graph model. Let's look at the latest HRRR. And we'll have an idea on this. So here's a zoomed in view on this. So first of all, it's got a storm developing near Eureka Springs. That hasn't really happened. Maybe it does, but notice how it dissipates it pretty quick. So by 10 o'clock, I don't think that's terrible. There's a break in the storm action, and you can see it continuing to develop a line. But remember, Fort Smith barely gets any rain again, although that does redevelop some more storms. So I don't know. I think this might be a little overdone.
Yeah, I think it's a little overdone, especially with what we're seeing right now.
Because again, we go back to Mega Doppler here, and there's no storm activity at all in between that line. It's falling apart. Our only hope for thunderstorms is going to be this complex. So a lot of people asking what's Bentonville looking like and stuff like that. That even looks like it's kind of moving a little more northeasterly. So you see parts of the line moving east, but then you see it starting to kick directly east. So, and the lightning isn't tremendous on this. There is some lightning, but it's not like some of the other times that we've seen just lightning like crazy. Click off of that. There you go. Now you get to see the lightning on top of the storm. So yeah, it's definitely a highly electrified storm. No, tornado threat is basically near zero. Very close to near zero. 65% humidity in Bentonville. Yeah, and that's relative now that the temperatures are starting to cool off. Yes, John, it is too early to inquire about the dendritic growth zone when snowflakes form. John's really wanting some cooler weather. So I got some great news for you. We'll give you a little bit of a tease here, but there's the storms moving out, and then you can see that temperature still going to be hot tomorrow. There's no doubt about that. We're still going to be up there, maybe not quite as hot as today. We'll look at the NAM 3 kilometer. So here's the ICAST data. Let's see if it develops any storms. So yeah, just kind of hit and miss here and there. It's going to be one of those. If you detailed your car, maybe you'll get a nice little downpour. That's the way it always works, right?
Yeah.
You detail it, you clean it, you go absolutely crazy, and then you get a nice downpour. That dirty rain too. Like you had all the dirt particles in the rain, and then you just have a dirtier car instead of it being rained on. So there's a look at, let's see, NAM 3 kilometer. Well, that's interesting. It just dies.
Huh.
Doesn't even load all the data. The numbers are ticking, but the radar stops. And that's par for the course. There we go. So there's the NAM 3 kilometer. Whoops, little too much.
Yeah.
Little too much. So you look at that, and yeah, it looks like storms everywhere, but nah, I don't buy that. GFS is terrible. European didn't do great, but the good old rain lottery for this one. So real quick, I've got 5 minutes. Let's give them the good news. We got a major pattern change that's coming. It's going to drop the temperatures. And here's a look at the energy that's coming in tonight. Notice how it's focused more to the north. So with it being focused more to the north, that means the energy and the lift will be stronger farther north. There still is a little dip in the jet stream that comes through, and that's why additional storms might pop up. But Peyton, what's happening later on in the weekend?
Oh, we get a nice change in the jet stream. A big trough comes through and cool things off, and we might be done with the 90s in Northwest Arkansas.
So that's a bold statement, but
It is a bold statement, but
you think it's
I
happening?
really want it to happen. So
Yeah.
maybe if I just speak it into
See,
fruition.
it's possible, but do you see this trough? If that swings east and this ridge builds back in,
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty hot.
it's gonna be pretty hot. So we'll see about that. But I hope it is. Here's a look at the 6 to 10 day and the 8 to 14 day outlook real quick. So first of all, we got to take this and go likely warmer than normal, and take this and go possibly colder than normal.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah. So that's the 6 to 10 day outlook. Now, what about precip? I haven't looked at this yet. We'll see what the precip looks like. Okay. So that makes sense with that northwest flow and the jet stream, possibly wetter than normal. So there's the 6 to 10 day precip. The 8 to 14 day outlook, it's close, likely warmer than normal in the
I'm
northwest.
seeing blue though.
I'm seeing some
Get my hopes
blue.
up.
Blue still continues. So we're going to put that in there. It makes sense. And we're going to go possibly colder than normal. Whoa, that was really big there for a second.
It just all depends on how that ridge sets up.
Yep.
We're gonna be east or west of it. And that's been the theme for the entire summer. So maybe soon we won't have to keep answering that question.
Wow,
every
there's an
single
8 to
day.
14 day outlook.
Oh man.
So still, we're close to the we're close to the basically better, basically,
road.
middle of the road. No tip to the scales, whether it's going to be wetter or drier. So that's all. That's an 8 to 14 day outlook. So I do believe that storm chances will be ramping up. Let's give you one more here on the 4 panel, and then I got to shut this down, and we'll have the latest on Fox tonight. And so all the models are showing rain. Look at the GFS. It actually has quite a bit. So looking at the last model run here on the INX, or the last radar loop, if there's any storms that develop, it would have to be this
Yeah.
complex of storms. Now,
I just
that
don't
was-
see it rebuilding. I think it's gonna be this kind of isolated. Someone mentioned rain lottery. I think that's what it's gonna be.
rain lottery.
There's just there's nothing for it to redevelop.
Yep. Well, we'll see what happens, and we'll keep you updated. We'll do another update here after the 10 o'clock. All right. So that's it for this Facebook Live. If you want to watch more, tune in to Fox 24 News at 9.